Welcome to the newest installment of the Untitled Film Nerd Project. My name is Philip, and joining me as always is TJ.
Hello.
We march on with our fourth annual 31 Days of Horror, where we watch a different horror movie every single night in October. Today marks day 27, and our movie for tonight was The Dark Tapes. I want to handle this one chronologically, because I think it's the easiest way to make sense of it all, because a lot happened.
Yes.
So I think it would be, for our sanity, I think it would be a little easier than jumping all over the place. But before I do, initial thoughts, pleasantly surprised.
Yes. Agreed. Same.
All credit to TJ on this one for finding it, so good find.
Thank you.
Okay, so we start out in the beginning with tape 00. It's called Discovery of Dark Tape Number 1, year 2007. And on this, we see a couple people outside, a lady and a guy, lady sitting on the bench, and they're talking, and then all of a sudden they see a video camera on a bench. Mm-hmm. And they're like, where did that come from? And the other guy's like, why is the door open? So they walk inside, and they see that this theater area, like this, there's a bed set up and desks and everything. But it's all in shambles because something happened. Mm-hmm. And they think that they intimate that the camera guy might have screwed with it or something. And then the people look at the camera that they were holding, and I assume they push play on the camcorder or whatever.
Yeah, I'm assuming so too.
Yeah, because then we go to the previous day, tape number 1, part A, To Catch a Demon, year 2007. And here we're introduced to Martin, who's a professor, Nicole, who's his teacher's assistant, and Jason, who is the director. And there's like a bed set up, and it looks like they're going to record, initially we think it's like a seance, because that's what the guy says.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked this scene, some things that stood out in this scene. I liked their explanation of REM sleep versus reality.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It was like 10 to 1,000 second of dream time is like 1 second for us.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was really cool. But then we basically find out that they're actually trying to figure out the science of like night terrors.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought would be really interesting for you.
Yes. Because I've suffered that before.
Yeah, and I don't, so to have like this kind of take on it, I thought was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then the camcorder goes all staticky, and what was just said plays over and over. But then we go to dark tape number 2, The Hunters and the Hunted. And the gist of this one is that this couple is being haunted.
Mm-hmm.
There's like footsteps on the roof. Doors are slamming. Things are moving by themselves. And they call in these ghost hunters. But things aren't entirely what they seem.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to explain why?
Well, they end up laying a trap for the ghost hunters.
Yep.
And it is apparently a family of killers.
Yep.
And it was a nice twist.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought the line, "Daddy, when do I get to kill someone?"
Yeah.
I was like, dang. Like a kid to be able to take on that kind of role,
mm-hmm.
That's pretty intense. So what happens is all these things are going on, and the camera guy, Cameron, is there with Jeff, the technician, and Susan, the host lady of this paranormal show. Well, all this stuff starts happening, and then Cameron can't find Jeff or Susan. But after that, where did they go? Because they were going to do something.
I think they were just going downstairs to get the technician guy to get back on the videos to keep track of everything going on in the house. And
okay.
I think she was just going downstairs to talk to the wife.
Right, okay. So this team is the PIPP, the Pacific Investigators of Paranormal Phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
And Cameron can't find anybody. So it looks like they've all vanished at first. But then he goes into a bathroom, and he finds Jeff in like the shower area, dead, and Susan is in a bathtub, also dead. And then he's walking around the house, gets knocked down, very much Blair Witch style, And then, as TJ said, we find out the swerve is that the couple lured them there.
Mm-hmm.
And the bigger swerve is that the daughter was in on it the whole time. Mm-hmm. And the daughter and the father kill Cameron together. And I was rather impressed by that.
Yes. I really like their house, too.
Not really my style.
I never heard of a upside-down house before.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I have. It was a little too like Italian fresco. I don't know. If that makes sense. Like,
mm-hmm.
It just wasn't my. Give me the house in Babadook any day.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to tape number 1, part B, To Catch a Demon, experiment number 1, year 2007. And this is when we find out that the professor is going to be self-inducing REM sleep to try and lure out on whatever the night terrors bring, essentially.
Because it is his theory that it is extra-dimensional beings.
Yeah, because they don't call them demons.
And it is also his theory that none of this is mystical, supernatural, or anything. It is just hard science.
Yeah, which I actually agree with.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that, I don't suffer from these, but I still think what people are seeing is an alternate dimension.
Mm-hmm.
I very much firmly believe that. If I recall correctly, that's all that really happens in this one. We just get the gist of what's going on. I think maybe they see something briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we go to dark tape number 3, Cam Girls, and I didn't see this one coming.
No. I was what's going on? What am I going to end up seeing here?
Yeah, it was really disturbing.
Yes.
The gist of this one is that, I forget their names now, I didn't write them down, but the dark-haired girl and the blonde girl are a lesbian couple. Mm-hmm. And the dark-haired girl is very much experimenting, trying to shake off the shackles of her very religious upbringing. So she's trying to go a little wild and do things she normally wouldn't do. But they have like a cam show where they have a bunch of people pop up on screen and they choose one to give the entire show to. And they choose this guy named Jerry. Poor sucker.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, blonde girl says to dark-haired girl, I'm sorry that I don't remember their names. This sounds really bad. So blonde girl says to dark-haired girl, have him cut himself. Like whoever they choose, have them cut themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We just think it's a sexual play.
Yeah, because I was just thinking that the blonde is the dominant.
Yes.
And the dark-haired one is very submissive.
Oh, yes. Prove your loyalty to me kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I liked the little play on words there, like what it really meant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, make him cut himself. Okay. While this is going on, while they're having their chat, there's this weird stuff happening on the screen. Like we see them taking pieces of their face off.
Mm-hmm.
But really quick flashes, like really just crazy stuff. They're on the bed together. They look like undead zombie things. And he sees it because he's like, So they have this private cam show. And she's like, hey, Jerry, show me your house. Show me your place.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets on his cell phone. He walks around and shows her, around the entire place. When they get to the bedroom, did you notice that there was 2 mattresses?
Yes.
That was weird. And there was someone in the background walking in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. After he shut off the lights,
yes,
you could see somebody walk by.
Exactly. Well, then he comes back out to the desk, and as he sits down, there's these demon-y hand things that come up from behind the couch briefly. And now I'm like, okay, what's going on? This is kind of weird. Because then he gets the pocket knife out of his drawer, sits down. Mm-hmm. She says, cut your hand for me. He doesn't want to, but he does. And he's like, I kind of liked that. And then she says, cut your throat. And I'm like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I want you to slit your throat for me. It'll turn me on. Just being very manipulative and sexual about it. And the dude does. He slits his throat. Well, then we find out the twist is, you can go ahead and let everybody know.
They are demons, perhaps?
Yeah, something.
Perhaps succubi?
Yeah, that's what I got as well.
The blonde is her father. She was awakened to her true self, which was a demon, by her father, and given... They were ghouls, that's what it was. Not succubi, they were ghouls. And given rules laid down long time in the past, they could not eat the flesh of anybody. They were not allowed to kill or eat the flesh of a human.
Right.
But thank goodness for
loopholes.
They can eat the flesh of someone that kills themselves.
Right. And then it ends with her saying, partake of flesh with me for the first time or something like that.
Yes.
And good job on the effects there. Because they pull the dude's head back. And I'm like, dang. On that one, really good acting job by the guy that played Jerry.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
Really good. Like he's probably all the acting was very solid.
Yes. But he was probably the best actor out of the entire movie.
Yeah. Like he played his role very well. But for such an indie underground movie, acting was surprisingly good. Yes.
Like my only complaint in that segment is after he slit his throat and he's slumped over on the chair. The extreme focus, because of where he slumped, with the focus being on his body, you could see him breathing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. I didn't notice that,
but small complaint, and indie film, so it's something that can be easily overlooked.
Yeah.
Especially given the fantastic effects on the throat.
Yes.
Afterwards.
Yes, very much so. And then after that, we go to Dark Tape number 1, Part C, To Catch a Demon. After the Experiments, year 2007. And in this one, they go to the demon's dimension. And it gets really just fucking erratic and crazy. They're trying to leave and they can't. We see this demon-y looking thing, and I was like, what the hell did they summon?
Yeah.
But at the same time, whatever this demon thing was, it was afraid of something else. And the professor says, what it's afraid of is scarier than what we know. And I was like, oh, okay, color me intrigued. This is where they realize that they're in the demon's time.
Yes.
In their dimension, not in their own. And that's why, sounds aren't the same. That's why they can't open the door. That's why, certain things can't happen. And it's very much like a living ghosts. So that's what I wrote down. Like they're living ghosts in this time dilation.
They're in a limbo.
Yeah. I did like the idea of anything could be hearing the signal they're sending out. That was very reminiscent of shortwave. I think this is also the one where Jason, I think his name was?
The director?
Yeah. Where he gets pretty much cut in half.
Yes.
Because he tries to run away, and he just literally gets sliced in half and falls to the ground and dies. Okay, so then we go to Dark Tape number 4, the last official Dark Tape. Amanda's Revenge, year 2015. This one, it starts out, Amanda says she's been kidnapped. And we don't really know if she's like in a cabin-y looking place, but she says she's been kidnapped. We get snippets of the video saying that pretty much knows who they are, and she's going to fight back or something. And then we flash back 4 months earlier at a party when they've all graduated, I think, from grad school. And Amanda was taken to a room where she had been roofied, and she was being insinuated she was being raped by 2 guys.
Yeah.
And the other guys busted in there, kicked their ass, and we go to the next morning, and there are 3 people at the table. It was like Ryan, Ashley, and Josh. Ryan and Amanda had been friends since they were kids or something.
Yeah, since they were 12.
Okay, yes, thank you. And Ashley and Josh were just mutual friends. So Ashley, Josh, and Ryan are sitting around the table like, what should we do? What happened? Holy crap. And Amanda walks out in the middle of this and looks really just disheveled and traumatized. She sits down, and one of them goes to touch her. She's like, don't touch me. And then everything starts shaking. And I wrote down in my notes, I was like, Amanda is Carrie? Question mark?
Yeah.
And then I think she goes back to bed.
Yeah, like, they thought it was an earthquake.
But everything else was fine, and no one else felt an earthquake.
Yep.
So pretty cool. Amanda goes back to bed, comes back out, and she's fine. Like, she's her normal self. She's like, hey, what happened last night? I don't remember anything. I had really weird dreams.
Yep.
We have another flash 1 month later. There's a video call between Amanda and Ryan where she intimates that her mom went crazy and murdered her dad. Amanda's dad, her husband, the mom's husband. She says that the mom might not be responsible based on what's been happening to her. She's now in Montana. She's trying to move. She's trying to get away from whatever is after her.
Yes.
But she wants to come back to Ryan's place. And Ryan says, hey, we were going to come get you. And she's like kidnap me? And he's like, yeah, kind of. I like that line. I like that line. I like when characters are written honestly. Very much like during Leatherface. The honest reactions. I like that. At first, when she's like, I'm going to need all three of you, I was like, what's going to happen? That's really creepy sounding. Because then at the end of this call, she talks to the ceiling. Like, I'm not done yet. Give me more time or something like that. And then she disappears. Like the camera flickers and she's gone. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I'm really intrigued. I'm really into this one. Next shot, she's at Ryan's house. And Ryan and Ashley and Josh are all there. And she says, film everything and stay awake. So she goes to bed. The other three go into another room. And they all fall asleep one by one. But not like regular sleep. It was like they were like knocked out.
Yeah.
They wake up to Amanda screaming the next morning. They run into the bedroom. They're like, are you okay? She's like, was I screaming? They say, yeah. She's like, oh, I thought we were past that. I'm like, what the hell is going on? A lot of nights are like, what's going on here? So then we have the next scene is she's sitting at the table with Ryan and a deck of cards. And she's like, I have to show you something. I have to prove to you that I'm not crazy. And she levitates a card. And I like the part where Ryan like moves his hand above and below it. It's like nice touch. Even though when the card came back out, it was clearly CGI.
Yeah.
But that didn't bother me. Like the guy breathing, I forgive it.
Yeah.
She also says something to the extent of the same thing happened to her mom. And then she says they're not as smart as they think they are. So we're like, who? All these little clues are being dropped. Then we go to another cam session with Amanda and Ryan. And Amanda says, play the video file in your inbox. And he does, and his face is like terrified. Like he gets like his eyes start watering. And that's pretty much the end of that one. And then we go back to being outside of this random cabin in the woods. And they're like practice fighting. And I'm like, okay. Like I'm still trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. And this one's so long because this was probably my favorite overall. I took really extensive notes on this one. Well, we find out that she can levitate about a foot off the ground. And then the camera cuts again, and we go back to the beginning of this tape where she's in the dark, one light on her, and she's talking about being kidnapped. So we pick back up where we started. So, but this time we get the rest of the video, like the parts that were cut out are now here. And she says beings come to her at night, and they come for her, and they take her. She says like this white light, emits. She floats off the bed. She wakes up. She's awake, but she floats off the bed, and then white light, and then she's just transported somewhere. She intimates that it's possible it's like a sleep paralysis, which I liked the tie-in to the other dark tape to catch a demon. She says that there are 3 species of whatever these things are. And she's being abducted, and that they're conducting experiments on her. So at this point, we kind of know that it's like an alien abduction thing.
Yeah. And she establishes that they're able to mess with anything electronic.
Yes. So cell phones, video cameras, your brain. They can mess with it.
Yes.
So to combat that, she gets an old record player, 8mm cameras, things that don't run on batteries or require electricity, that run on film or like with the wax from the record player. And And we cut to a shot of a recording from the 8mm camera, and it shows a creature walking into the room. And then that's where it cuts out. Then the next shot is her talking about how she has 4 8mm cameras, the old record player, sulfuric acid balloons, and a tripwire at the door. Now, I don't recall what the tripwire did. Maybe, do you remember?
There was a bow and arrow. No, not a bow and arrow. What's that?
Crossbow?
Crossbow. Yes,
oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. This time we see the footage from different angles from the 8mm cameras. And we see like lights flashing. We see her levitate. We see the white light. We see like these red orb things. And this creature starts walking into the room. But it's a different creature, if I recall correctly, than the one that peeked out from the doorway.
Yes.
So one looked like more like a demon. The first one. The second one looked like a freaking alien. The alien walks into the trap. And then that's all we see. Then we go to a cut of another cam call between Ryan and Amanda. And Amanda says, you know what, hey, I've been free and clear since that night.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And then the twist is
that she may be okay, but now the aliens have started coming for him.
Yep. It has been transferred to Ryan. Nice little twist.
Mm-hmm.
It's also in this one.
My only question is, did she maintain her powers?
Ah, good call. I didn't write that down. Yeah, good call. Yeah.
But this was another strong one out of the entire movie.
Yes.
Loved the mystery being built.
It unfolded really nicely.
Yes. Amanda herself, I liked her.
Yeah, me too.
I believed her character. And Ryan, also with him, I believed his reaction. And this is another thing where I could actually believe that these two had been friends since childhood.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Because once she had shown him proof, and she was like, can you come down? Can you come to where I'm at? Without a question. It's like, I'm on my way.
Yep. And what I liked about it is like because at the end they were like, we need to consummate our relationship.
Yeah.
But before that, they were very much just friends.
Yeah.
Like there was no like friend zone bullshit or anything like that. It was just a dude and a woman that were friends. Mm-hmm. There was no sexual attention. There was no flirting. There was no, I came down here for you, so, none of that crap. So, yeah, I agree with that as well. They really felt like an actual friendship.
Yeah.
So, good job by both of the actors. Yeah, good call on that as well. Again, the effects they used, it was kind of, if you want to get nitpicky, it was kind of cheesy with people in little suits. But on the budget they had, the editing they used, it worked.
It works.
Mm-hmm. Then we go to the final part of, well, quote-unquote final part, if you count the credits. The final part of this anthology thing. Dark Tape number 1, Part D, To Catch a Demon, called It All Ends Where It Begins, year 2007. We find out that the professor says they're in a semi-permanent time dilation bubble. And we find out it's because there are 2 dilations going on at the same time. Because of this, they had like it was emitting like radioactive waves, and they had turned it up so high that they created 2 dilations. One that was getting bigger, that went to somewhere in the middle of the theater. The second one was shrinking, and Jason happened to run into the line where they crossed, and thus got cut in half. I really liked that.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool and very clever.
Mm-hmm.
Again, good job on the practical effects. So the professor says, power up the machine again. We have enough juice or power or whatever for one last time. He's going to fight off the creature, like hold on to it, while she pushes the buttons. She does that, and then everyone is gone but her. Do you want to explain what happened? Because I thought it was really fucking clever.
Well, at this point, we think that she's back in the normal dimension, which, in a way, she is. Mm-hmm. So she's able to interact with the environment, and she's able to leave the building.
Yep.
Once she leaves the building, we go back to the very beginning, and we see the 2 people that were first entering the building. Mm-hmm. And we come to find out that, she's back in the current dimension, but she is still in a time bubble of sorts.
Yeah.
And the way that I understood it, because of the fact that she was able to leave the camera, put down the camera, and it appeared to the others, that the bubble is surrounding her herself.
Ah, okay.
So they were frozen in time. Or not really frozen in time, just time was moving much slower for them.
Because she was in the middle of lighting a cigarette, and I think he was on the phone. I believe.
And as she walked past them, that's when time returned back to normal for those two individuals.
Right.
But nobody could see her. She can't interact with them, so she is stuck.
Very Twilight Zone. I liked it.
Yes.
Because in the beginning, I'm like, why are they just now noticing the camera? And why are they just now noticing the doors open? And it was explained really nicely. That's pretty much the end. Then as the end credits roll, audio plays over it, and it's the same demon-y voice. It says, you used to believe in us. Your religions used to talk about us. We have enemies. You're getting closer to us, but we won't let that happen. So really interesting way to end it. Overall, solid find.
Yeah. This was very good.
Yeah, it was.
Very good anthology, very good found footage.
Yeah, like this could be in the vein of VHS.
In the vein of VHS, I like this a hell of a lot more than VHS 1 and 2.
As a whole, yeah, I agree. I mean, it had that low budget feel to it, but the editing was very solid. Yeah, this was written, directed, and edited by Michael McCowan. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, sir. By Michael, yes. Written, edited, and directed by Michael. I don't see anything else from him. This is really his first venture.
Well, I hope he continues.
He has another one coming out called The Darker Paths, which could be a successor to this.
That would be awesome.
That would be cool, because he has an easy anthology on his hands. Yeah, overall, I'm very, 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 very impressed. Every single little dark tape was strong. I don't think I disliked any of them.
Yeah. Which is pretty much kind of rare in anthologies. Because
even in VHS, I liked most of them, but there was a couple I didn't like.
Yeah.
So I definitely look forward to seeing what this guy does next.
This was a very good gem of the month.
Yeah. I thought that Shortwave was possibly going to be the winner, but this might actually take it unless we find something in the last few days that trumps this one. But definitely, good find.
Thank you.
Anything else you would like to talk about for Dark Tapes? No,
that about covers it.
You like found footage stuff? You like anthology stuff? Check it out. If you've never heard of it, like I hadn't until TJ brought it up. In general, check it out. It's, like he said, a hidden gem. And a very strong contender for Hidden Gem of the Month. All right, well, that wraps up this episode. Thank you for listening. If you've seen the Dark Tapes, tell us what you thought of the movie in the comments below. Which segment was your favorite? I still think Amanda's Revenge is probably mine.
Agreed.
I really liked the Cam Girls one, and I liked the Hunters and the Hunted. They were both very strong, but Amanda's Revenge is probably my pick.
Same.
Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Tune in tomorrow for day 28 of the 31 Days of Horror. In the meantime, my name is Philip.
And I'm TJ.
And we will talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Bye.